How's it going? My name is Brock. Today I'm going to show you everything I do to make cyanotype prints at home with my own photos. So obviously the first thing you're going to need to make a cyanotype are the chemicals. I went with the Jacquard brand from Amazon. These two bottles are about $23 and it comes with pre-mixed amounts of potassium ferrocyanide and the ferric ammonium citrate, which are the two chemicals that you need. Even though the bottles look small, on the packaging, it says that it makes up to 65 8x10s. Next thing you're going to need is some sort of watercolor paper. I went with the Cont'd brand. I found this at Michael's. It was buy one, get one free when I was there. So for 60 sheets across the two pads, I only paid $18. Next thing we're going to need are some different paint brushes. I have two soft ones, a medium size and a bit of a smaller size. I recommend using these, or even better, I don't have one around with me right now, but a wide sponge brush. Those tend to work the best. I do have this 1/2 inch bristle brush as well. Absolutely optional, not compulsory at all for this project, is a spray bottle. Next thing you're gonna need is some sort of acetate. This is gonna come in when we are actually making our negatives. I just have some Xerox monochrome printer clear transparency paper. I got this on Kijiji actually. It was 20 bucks for 100 sheets. I've seen it at Value Village for $2.99, but otherwise your only option is to go to Staples from what I could tell. And there you'll get 50 sheet packs, but they range in price from $70 to $90. Just be aware that they are coated with a different solution on either side that's meant for different printers and inks. The ones that I so happen to have only work with standard office copier machines. So this is just some of the examples that we can get from using the acetate to print negatives. Of course, images that have stronger contrast, deeper blacks, whiter whites, they always tend to work best with this process. Although you can expose images that have more midtones. This is an example. This one, I haven't had a lot of great success, but I've tried different processing times for this image in particular, and I've actually had really good results with kind of underexposing it. But as soon as it goes overexposed, you don't make out any detail. There's nothing recognizable within the image other than about maybe this street pole, because all the black turns out white regardless of how long you expose it. There's no light getting through here, but then all the gray and the midtones just disappear into the rest of the blacks in the image. You need something to measure out the cyanotype solution. I have just some Pyrex test tubes that I got at an antique store. I use these and I'll show you in a bit. I just fill it up to a certain level, put a tape guide there, pour it out into a glass container to mix, and then just put the part B solution in to the same level. So just be aware that however much you are using, it is important to use all of that at once. This stuff doesn't store once it's mixed. However, the bottles themselves will last a little bit longer. If you don't want to do prints with actual photos, I recommend running around your house and just finding some objects that have recognizable shape or you can make shapes with. I have toothpicks I've done in the past before. I've had really good results with these, and of course because they're small and you can just rearrange them any way that you want. Just be aware that if you're exposing with found objects, it's not going to work at all on an overcast day. The mix is simply 1-to-1 of the part A and the part B. So go ahead and mix it in. And so now I know that I need to mix my part B to the same level. I'm going to start out by putting it in the spray bottle. That way I can actually mix the two parts together, and since I imagine I need a certain level of fluid in this bottle in order to spray it, this is a good place to start. So adding our part B. So we added a little bit too much, and I'm not going to pour this back into the bottle because that would contaminate it with the part A solution. So I'm just going to pour some out, and then we can rinse that out of our bowl before we mix. So there's the same level. So I'm going to put that into our spray bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and start spraying this onto the piece of paper. I'm going to start out with the soft medium-sized brush Just give it a little coat. You immediately notice that it takes up the solution right away, and just start applying that. So that's one down. They should look bright lime green yellow when you first apply this, and even when these do dry, they will be about the same color. It's not until we actually rinse this, the final step, that you do notice the blue. So go ahead, put that in your closet. You can see right away the difference with this brush, how it affects the page, and you notice the different type of brush stroke I am actually applying the solution with. Now it's important, I find, to flip it over, go both ways, and just have fun with it. Do however you want. So you do notice that with this technique, I'm not depositing as much onto it. If you do want to fill it in with a different style of brush, maybe the soft brush, and just get some more of that solution into where you know your print is going to be. Now we're in Photoshop. I have an image selected of an old motel sign I took on the side of the road a while ago. The first thing we need to do is make it black and white. To do that, I'm going to go Image, Adjustment, Channel Mixer. You could use a hue saturation at this point, but I prefer the channel mixer because I can isolate certain channels. In this case, I'm going to isolate the blue channel because of all the sky that is in the photo. I'm going to hit OK. And I've gone ahead and made a curves layer just for a little bit of contrast. I found that this photo needed the whites to be lifted a little bit. So after you've made any required adjustments to your photo, go ahead, merge those layers, hit Command I on your keyboard to invert it, and now you have a negative. You can go ahead and print this out. That would be absolutely fine for the process, but I'm gonna go a step further and add a border. If you want a blue border, just leave it as it is and print it out, you'll get that. I prefer to be able to sign the prints, write the title of, just any other information that's required. So using the rectangular marquee, I've fixed the size to 8 by 10 inches, and I'm gonna fill that with black. So now when we print this onto the Cyanotype paper, we're gonna have a nice white border around the image. So go ahead and save that out. I'm gonna save it as a PDF by hitting File, Automate, PDF Presentation, hit Add Open Files, Save, and save that to wherever you want. If you happen to live somewhere that doesn't get a lot of sunshine, you may be better off going with a UV light. I have this mood light, but otherwise I would recommend a 1000-watt grow light. The benefit to these is that you can control the time, and once you get familiar with your light, the processing time usually stays the same. The rest of the video is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm gonna head off, but if you have any questions or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I've had a lot of fun making this video. I look forward to making future ones, so hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.